まもなく新大阪です。
We will soon make a brief stop at Shin Osaka.
Good morning from Osaka, Japan. We are here at the Osaka Expo, which is the modern equivalent of the World's Fair, like the famous New York, Chicago World's Fairs. They do them now every 5 years, and this year's happens to be while we are here in Osaka. It's from April to I think October of this year, 2025, and it is mobbed. We took the train here, a lot of people on the train, a lot of people getting cattle herded through to get in here. We have an 11 a.m. entry slot, and there's pavilions from all around the world. We do not have any reservations to go into any, which is something you can get well in advance, but we didn't know for certain we were doing this far enough in advance to get reservations. So we're gonna just see how much you can get done without having any reservations to anything. We've heard probably not a lot, but we're gonna try our best to enjoy the Osaka Expo. All right, we have made it inside. It took just over an hour to get from the train to in the gates. Now we see what we do from here. Like the red-blooded Americans we are, we tried to start at the USA Pavilion, but the line was absurd. So we're gonna see how long it would take to get into Ireland. All right, so update. The Ireland Pavilion, you have to wait an hour and a half to get a time slot to come back later. So we're not doing that. It seems like we probably just won't get to go in anywhere, but at least we got a stamp in our stamp books. All right, so the line was reasonable at Malaysia. Leah, what do you know about Malaysia?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I'm gonna learn.
You're gonna learn. That's good. Open-minded. Ready for growth mindset.
Yep.
Shane, what do you know about Malaysia?
I know they got a stand somewhere around here.
This is hand-woven by indigenous communities in Malaysia, and they created it because it represents the theme of their pavilion, which is weaving the future together.
Good fun fact, Leah. Vibe so far is that this whole thing is like super awesome, but also just one massive queue, and you just have to wait in line to do anything. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough out here with no reservations. This is no discredit to any of the Japanese food I had this trip, which has all been delicious, but that flatbread was one of the best things I've had this entire trip. It was so good. Give me like 15 more of them right now. So not every country has its own giant pavilion. So they have these commons buildings where they can come set up a table, give out a stamp, and tell you a little bit about their country without having to pay millions of dollars for a giant building. Step one. out Eswatini.
Big shout out.
Typical Comorian, and its cake has a specialty name. And one day there was an American came to Comoros and tested this cake, and he said, "Good." And from this we keep the name Gudu Gudu.
What did we do for the last hour?
We just went around to each of the little countries' little booths and we got all of their stamps.
Stamp farming.
Collect them all. Gotta collect them all. Found a little putt-putt. We're in the Vietnam pavilion.
So many of these pavilions look awesome, but they also all have like 40-minute to an hour waits, and we can't wait for all of them because we only have the one day here. I don't think I realized just how much there was here, and how even if you have reservations, you probably need like 3 or 4 days to do even remotely close to everything. We have come on top of the Great Ring, or whatever it's called, which is the largest wooden structure in the world. They constructed it just for this, and it has some pretty cool views of all the pavilions below. The sun is beginning to set. We are running out of time. We have done very little, it feels like, and it's making me almost sad that I'm realizing how much I will not get to do at this extremely awesome event. But we have a couple hours left. We're going to make the most of them.
Hello vlog, it's Liam. I don't know what Mikey told you about this wooden structure. He probably told you it was the biggest in the world, but it wraps all the way around the World Expo. World Showcase. No, wait. World's Fair. World Showcase is Disney. Whoops! But it's massive. It's huge. It's really pretty up top too. They have flowers. Very nice.
So while we worked our way through these commons halls with all these little booths in them, and I was showing you a bunch of these little short clips, I figured this would be a good time to kind of share my thoughts on the overall expo. That way you don't have to watch 5 minutes uninterrupted of me just showing 2-second clips from these booths. Although, I promise you, in person, it was very cool to get the chance to walk around and look in each of these little booths, even if it's only for a couple seconds. Obviously, we only had about, 8 hours, maybe a little bit more by the time it was all said and done at the expo. We didn't get in till close to 11 o'clock. Maybe it was about 10 hours. And as you'll see later in the video, so stick around if you haven't clicked away already, a lot of our favorite pavilions that we were able to get into were in the evening, because as it got darker and later, the crowds cleared out and we were able to pop in a couple of the bigger pavilions. So I won't be, upset if you just skip ahead a little bit. No hard feelings. But overall thoughts on the expo, as somebody who loves traveling, who loves learning about other cultures, who loves pretty much everything that this event is, collecting things like stamps, this was like the best thing ever. I don't think that I would have changed the way we did our Japan trip, because it was a trip to Japan and we wanted to see everything and we had a limited amount of time in the country. But with that being said, if I, in an ideal world, had more time, I easily could have spent multiple days at this event. If you ever get the chance to go to one sometime in the future, I would say allot at least 2 or 3 days and get some of those harder to get reservations, because without reservations, you're not really going to be able to do anything. We were able to get into a couple pavilions later, like I said, but it is definitely not the same as having a timed entry slot to some of these places and being able to walk right up and go in. So that definitely would have changed the experience. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. Looking back, if we had known, we would have changed some things, but it is what it is. Overall, I'd say my favorite pavilions that we got to go into were probably Spain and Australia, both of which you haven't seen yet, so stay tuned for those. But it was really cool to even hop around some of these smaller booths, and obviously, like, I know things about Spain, I know things about Australia. A lot of the bigger pavilions belong to bigger countries that I knew a lot about, but going to these smaller booths and talking to people from smaller countries that you may not know as much about was really, really cool. For example, you saw earlier in the video, I got to talk to someone from Comoros, and I knew of Comoros. I knew it was a predominantly Muslim island nation, but besides that, I didn't really know much else. And it was super cool to just talk to that person for 5 minutes or so. And if I had had more time at the expo, I would have loved to have talked to even more people from a lot of these different countries, and you could tell a lot of them were excited to be showcasing their country to the world. Beyond that, just visually, the architecture around the event was incredible. Some of the pavilions were really, really innovative. They had some pavilions that weren't even country specific. They were showcasing more of the technology side of things. Just because of time, we didn't go really into any of those, but there was so much to do at this event. I hope that some part of it maybe gets preserved beyond the end of the expo, which ends in October of 2025, I think. Previous expo sites are just parks now, so maybe they'll keep the Grand Ring and make it a park, I don't know. But yeah, it was really, really great. So back to the regularly scheduled programming, but I figured this was a good time to share some thoughts. The booths in this building are getting pretty bare bones there. Not a whole lot going on. Kevin, if he ran 100 meters in 9.58 seconds, how quickly do you think you could run it?
9.57.
I don't think we visited Zambia.
It says right there we did, so we must have.
Crossing it off the bucket list
I'm
then.
getting my passport stamped, so it's valid.
So pretty much right as it hit 6 o'clock, a lot of the lines dissipated. There's still lines for some stuff, but we've been able to hit a couple in a row of the like legit pavilions as the sun is setting. Maybe it's because everyone's watching the sunset, but we've gotten to do a little bit more these last couple minutes, which is nice. possibly the biggest heartbreak of the day after a beautiful sunset is that Italy, la mia casa, la mia paese. Italy is reservation only, so we can't go in, which is a bummer because it looks super cool. Coliseum's in there, but no reservations, can't go in. But you can see it from the outside. Super cool looking. Womp womp. Pizza review.
I got pizza and an arancino. I already housed the arancino, but it's not like Italy by any means. But for Japan, it's pretty good.
People making them Italian?
No,
Okay.
no.
But they were saying grazie, I heard. How's it compared to the Hiroshima vending machine?
This is much better than the Hiroshima vending machine, so I'll give it that.
Look how impressive this wooden structure is. Leah and I were just admiring it while Kevin was getting pizza.
I like how the lights make it like look a little golden, and it's not mobbed right now. It's very pleasant.
Yeah, this is very enjoyable now that the crowds have subsided. I keep comparing it to Epcot, and these guys are getting annoyed. But as an
No, you're
Epcot
right.
enthusiast, this feels like a grander, slightly more adult, slightly less theme parkish version of Epcot.
It's like if Epcot didn't have rides and the pavilions were more of a bigger deal.
And it was just way bigger
Yes.
and had the largest wooden structure in the world. Australia, easily the best pavilion so far. That thing was sweet. Coming to this expo is something I was hesitant about, and I didn't know how I'd feel about it. I thought I'd like it, but especially considering we didn't have reservations, I was a little bit iffy. One of the coolest things I've ever done. I probably won't go to the one in Saudi Arabia. That's 5 years from now, but 10 years from now, we'll see. Anyway, there's a flamenco player here in Spain. Let's go see that. Pavilions like this make me wonder what we were missing in the other big pavilions all day that we just couldn't get into because the lines were too long. They were probably all awesome like this. My iPhone is like color correcting it a little bit to fix the color, but it is like orange in here. The Thailand pavilion includes a show, and we're a little crunched for time because we have less than an hour until it closes, and we still have 6 or 7 pavilions that we'd like to at least pass through and see, and we still need to eat dinner. So we're skipping out on Thailand, but we are going to grab a stamp before we move on from the exit. Last one. If I thought Italy closing on us was bad, they were supposed to, but Germany closed early. That's a real bummer. They closed 30 minutes early. We thought we were going to be able to get in there. And that's where we were going to eat. So now we're just hungry and sad. But I got a stamp. At least they let us get the stamp before they pushed us away. So thanks for that at the very least, I guess. Last two, Luxembourg and Nepal, just shut down. Well, ultimately, we were about 30 minutes short because we thought we had 30 more minutes and everything closes 30 minutes early and we didn't know. And our timing was a little bit off. We might have changed things a little bit differently, but it's okay. This was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. And I was very lucky to get to go to a World Expo. So that's it. We are headed out. We're gonna try to grab some food, probably just at like a Family Mart or a 7-Eleven, which in Japan is high quality stuff. And then we'll be headed back to Kyoto. We have one more day in Kyoto tomorrow. I don't know if that video is up already, depending on how I'm doing this. But I know this will be one isolated video probably. So if it is, thanks for watching.